Welcome back, guys. We are driving to the gym once again, and I am quitting caffeine for a little bit. I haven't had coffee for the past, I think this is the third day that I haven't had any, and up until this point, I'd been having it pretty much every day for about maybe 3 months. I just gotten in the pattern and the habit of having a cup of coffee every morning. And what I would do with it, I actually really liked. Over the past month or so, what I would do when I was just in my normal day-to-day schedule is I would have some breakfast in the morning and kind of start drinking the cup of coffee with breakfast, but then really drink the bulk of it while I was reading a book for 30 to 40 minutes. Just right after breakfast in the morning, before there are any distractions, I would be reading a book, drinking this cup of coffee, and that would make me enjoy reading the book more. And that was how I got myself to, read a decent amount every day. And I was reading, I got about halfway through the book, and I'm still reading. I read some last night, just because I haven't been reading it in the morning without the cup of coffee. But it's actually a really good book. It's called Surface Detail, and it's a sci-fi novel. It's really cool. But I wanted to kind of stop having caffeine every day just to give my body a break from it and to let myself really start enjoying and appreciating it again. And I think that the way to do that for me, I think that what I'm going to do is only have caffeine on the weekends. Kind of as and this has nothing to do with the fact that tomorrow is a weekend, but just kind of, it's always been my desire to have caffeine be kind of like a treat instead of, I don't want to have to take it to do work. And I do enjoy having it in the mornings reading a book. And I probably won't do that on the weekend. Maybe I will. I don't know. It was really nice, like, weekdays when I do have a schedule and everything's happening at a set time to be doing that, but I don't feel like doing that on the weekends. I don't know. But I do want caffeine and coffee to be kind of more of a reward, or not really a reward, but just more of an enjoyable thing, I want to be enjoying it and not using it to do work. Not that the reading was work. The reading was really enjoyable. And I did like doing that, but then I would still, have the effects of the caffeine after that, and that's when I would be doing work. And so, over the past few days, it's been tougher to do the work without the caffeine. I've still gotten it done. I still brought myself to do it, but starting is a lot tougher. And I don't want that to be the case. I want it to be pretty easy to get myself going and just start doing whatever tasks I need to be doing. And, these tasks, like, some of them were so random. Like, when I say work, it's not all, like, on the computer stuff. Like, even some of the things, one thing that I wanted to do before I actually started doing, financial work was, I just wanted to replant an aloe plant that I have in a bigger pot. And I somehow procrastinated that a few minutes, like, longer than I should have. It should have just been at the snap of a finger I started transplanting it, but it took me a couple of minutes after breakfast to get into the mindset of, all right, I'm going to be doing a task on that day that I didn't have caffeine. And I think that that's probably the case for a lot of people, just because so many people have caffeine super regularly. And, I've had it, pretty regularly for the past 3-ish months. And before that, I would have it semi-regularly. I just, my use of it ramped up recently. Partly because we just have a really nice coffee maker and, it makes espresso shots. And honestly, the amount of caffeine that I'm getting out of them probably isn't huge. I only have a single shot of espresso. But it's tough to say, how much caffeine is actually in that. The internet says 50 milligrams. It says half a cup of coffee, basically. But, that's tough to say for sure. Like, it could vary on brand of coffee that you buy and and how much you put in the single shot of espresso. I mean, it's a timer that you run this thing for, and different amounts of grounds come out depending on what you have the timer set for. And so there's a lot of variables that could be affecting that. And overall, I tried to keep my caffeine intake pretty low, but it did become an everyday kind of thing, and I wanted it to be more like I was saying earlier, like a reward. I want to just have it on the weekends or on a weekday where something different's going on, and I want it to become more of a fun thing to take caffeine, which that's what I was trying to do by reading every morning and having the caffeine instead of just having it with/after breakfast and doing work right afterwards. But I think the problem remains that I'm having it every day, and I don't know, I feel like when you do something every day, it's just not that special. That's just, maybe that's maybe people would disagree with that, but I just find that when something is a little bit more rare, and it doesn't have to be super rare, it could just be once or twice a week instead of every day, or maybe 3 times a week, but that's becoming like every other day, which still sounds like a lot to me. Something that happens once or twice a week, though, can remain very special in your mind for a long time. At least for me, it can. And so I feel like limiting my caffeine intake to, 1 or 2 days on the weekends. Maybe I don't have it every weekend day, but not every Saturday and Sunday, maybe just a Saturday or just a Sunday. It'll probably end up being, both days. But at the very least, it will make, it'll make the weekends a little bit more special. And it'll stop the caffeine intake. It'll stop coffee from becoming something that I take for granted and something that I feel less good without, right? I think that if I'm not taking it to do work every day and I'm just doing the work without any kind of substance like caffeine, then that's just going to be the norm, and it's going to be very easy for me to jump into that, as it has been in the past. It's only recently that work has been tough to do without caffeine. So I think that that's my plan. I think weekends only. I've said this before, but it's so enjoyable to have a cup of coffee in the morning sometimes that I have a way of turning my schedule into, oh, well, I'll have a cup of coffee this morning too. I'll get this done. It'll be good for this. And then, it just becomes too monotonous, and it's just every day, all right, cup of coffee, and I start taking it for granted. So I think that I'm going to be pretty serious. It looks like there was a big accident here. There's a cop car and a fire truck and some people standing around, an ambulance too. Let's flip the camera around real quick so you guys can see what's going on. Nothing crazy. It looks like everyone's okay. The ambulance doesn't seem to be, no emergency or anything. It's just parked there, but it was probably just called in case, hopefully. But yeah, this corner actually gets a ton of accidents on it. Like every 2 to 3 months, there's a pretty bad accident on this corner. I don't know what that means, if this corner is a poorly designed street, but I swear every 2 or 3 months, there's a big accident there. And that, when there's a fire truck and a police car and an ambulance, I call that a pretty big accident. I didn't really see the car damage, but if you're calling that much stuff, it's obviously not just a fender bender where, someone bumps into somebody else. It's like, and especially at an intersection, people are going at high speeds, and if they don't see the light, or I don't even know what's wrong. I'm always very aware of, the lights, but maybe some people are just plowing through those things. Or maybe some people are trying to run the reds. I don't know. It's that corner where I see bad stuff happen. And actually, the corner that I was just on too, we might just have some bad drivers in this area. But other than that, guys, I'm about to park, and I will stop boring you with this. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.